Our Chief North of England correspondent Greg Marlam joins us now from Lake Windermere in the Lake District. Greg, how is it where you are?
Well, wet and windy, as they promised, and that rain and the wind has certainly arrived. There is a yellow warning, as you say, that stretches across much of the north, and that will be in effect until late tonight, and they're certainly feeling it here. And those impacts, big and small, across the country. Here the impacts are that the car ferry that runs on Lake Windermere has been suspended because of the strength of the winds. More locally, the sightseeing ferries, if you wanted to go sightseeing today, are more limited. There's a reduced service. In particular, the services that normally drop people off at one point of the lake and then pick them up later in the day, they're not running because they simply don't know whether they will be able to pick them up later in the day. So we've seen a few of the tourist boats go out. They're just doing circuits of the lake, the sightseeing tours, but they don't want people to get stranded. There are fewer people, they tell us here, than on a normal New Year's Eve. Not surprisingly, we've seen some hardy dog walkers, some joggers, would you believe, out and about in it. But people are taking heed of the advice here generally and staying inside. And those impacts stretch across the country. You mentioned Newcastle, the fireworks displays, 2 fireworks displays planned there, one for 6 o'clock tonight, one for midnight on the quayside. They would have been the first since 2019 on the quayside. They have both been cancelled, following what we saw in Scotland, also down the coast in Blackpool, where those conditions and the concerns for public safety mean they just don't want to take the risk of people being out in conditions like this, particularly with those high winds and those yellow warnings that remain in place for rain, one starting this evening, running through New Year's Day. Most of the country covered by something in terms of a warning over the next 24 hours. And those warnings, people, whatever they're doing for New Year, to be careful, to listen to the forecasts and to take heed of those warnings and the potential for disruption, because we're seeing it on all levels in all parts of the country.